Chili, I don't know. Are you going to Vegas, sir? Amanda Kenworth, not a Volvo. Well, somebody said the 680 Kenworth had the new F-mod engine. Skipping graduation walk for it. Whoa! Priorities. Whoa, FPS is going a bit weird. Did 45 FPS through there then. Nobody knows if or when this game will come to Xbox. A few months since you played ECS. It depends. You're probably busy with like coursework and flying, and you've got other things to do apart from trucking, right? Which headset? It's an Asus Orion headset. Yeah, I've not seen this trailer before. It's a, what is it now? A power generator, 7 ton. You feel fat, you just ate a 16 slice pizza to yourself, Battle Rabbit. That's irrelevant. I could make a pizza that big, right? And cut it into 16 slices and say, oof, I just ate a 16 slice pizza. That doesn't matter. How big was the pizza? Doesn't matter how many pieces you cut it into, it's how big was the pizza. Yeah, I find if you ever buy like a 16-inch pizza for yourself, just cut it into 2 slices. It doesn't fill you up as much as if you cut it into 16 slices, it really fills you up. So, Mr. Chili, what have you been up to, sir? Have you been flying? Focused on your schoolwork? Oh, no, no, no. Don't cut it into 32 slices. That's madness. You'll never finish it. Mr. FZB, you're welcome to stay in chat, but you're going to have to keep it a little bit more classy than that. Been giving VATSIM a go was hell for departing track for 15 minutes yesterday, even though there was no planes. You might have had Chewie on ground control, struggling for 15 minutes. That could have been the problem. Oh, you're an NA. Well, that's not likely then. Did you get a honeycomb? I have got a honeycomb. If I pop 3 bolts under here, that comes off. Honeycomb should be able to go on raw. The only problem I've got is the rudder setup, which I'm hoping to sort out this week. You know what? It's so nice being able to press on pedals as hard as you like, and the pedals don't go anywhere, and the wheel doesn't go backwards. Like, the chair doesn't go backwards. Everything just stays where it is. That's nice. I'm used to trying to, like, you know, lock wheel casters and stuff to not go backwards. What do I think of it? What, the honeycomb? For the price, it's very good for the money. Heyman, this is the first, like, rig I've ever owned in my life. And it's been a long time coming. I'd kind of like to get more of this setup in the view, though. Because, like, what you can't see so well is this here. I bet Chewie can't see. Chewie can't see this. This here is a Warthog stick. I have it mounted onto the rig with an extension on it as well, so I get really fine grain control. But you can't really see that on the camera. The only downside to the new rig now is Squirrel needs to wear pants when he streams. Yeah, but I might be going commando for all you know. To make up for it, right? When I spoke to the guy at Honeycomb, he said that force feedback was something they were looking to put in, but after they've done the throttle. So the general plan, and bear in mind, plans change. The general plan was Honeycomb yoke, Honeycomb throttle, then force feedback on Honeycomb yoke. Come on, what are you doing, bro? I don't even know why we're waiting here. Look at this. Oh my god. Do you know what? If the AI actually used 2 lanes right now, how much easier would our life be? How dumb is this? I mean, when I spoke to the Honeycomb guy, I said to him, the difference between flight simulator peripherals and racing sim peripherals is unbelievable. It really is just huge. Andy Jasso, welcome back. I mean, it really is, like, if you're a Magenta Line pilot, yeah, you just take off autopilot, it doesn't matter. But if you want to do something else, like if you want to fly GA stuff, having a force feedback yoke is actually incredibly good. Rhetoric, the customer expects delivery very soon. Lol. Would I consider being a truck in real life? Nope. My career was IT until I did this. Mr. Gabby, welcome back. Uh-oh. Finally had the free subs from Prime membership. Thank you very much for the sub, Andy. Welcome back, sir. That bus is in a hurry. Unlike, I don't know, whenever I'm out in my car and I'm behind a bus, it never seems to be in a hurry. I like the cruise control I've got set up. I just press this button here and it enables cruise control, and if I turn the control, I can adjust the speed on the dash there, 55. If I just turn it back, I can make it 50. It's like a manually adaptive cruise control. It's quite nice though. And if I do up, down, left and right, I get different like camera angles. All that from just that one button. That's a nice button on the Fanatec wheel. What got me into IT? How far back do you want to go? My ZX Spectrum is what got me into IT. I don't know where it came from, but when the home computer revolution kicked off and the guy over the road bought a Commodore VIC-20, all I wanted to do was computing. Has anybody seen that new Spectrum? There was a Kickstarter for a Spectrum Vive or something, I can't remember the name. There's quite a few videos on YouTube of it now. Looks so good. The people who Kickstarted it have just received it, and it is so good. It's like HDMI output, but you can even, there's like an app you can get on your phone, you can play original cassette tapes through it and stuff, so you can actually load from original cassette if you want. Really, really good. It's like 128k speccy. Well, Kirby, that's not the same as this one. Yeah, that's it. Spectrum Next. Have a look at it on YouTube. Spectrum Next. Really good. There's one guy did a video of it about 5 days ago. It must be like an hour and a half long video. He goes into everything. Unboxes it, takes you through all the details. I was sitting there thinking, oh, I'm tempted to get one of these. Like, they made the keys slightly better as well than the original Spectrum 128k. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Dudes! Come on, bro. Can I fit through that gap, do you reckon? Can I fit? From Brazil. Welcome, sir. Oops. Get one, life short. It's just whether I'd get one and then just leave it in a cupboard, or would I get one and actually use it, you know? That's why I thought I'd wait a few days and see how I felt. Like, after watching the video, my temptation was to go over to the Kickstarter and immediately buy one, but I thought to myself, I'll just think on it, you know? I'll see how I feel about it. I don't want to get one and not use it. But yeah, the guy shows you playing like some original games. It's so good. Remember this, the Commodore 64? Wow, this is really laggy through here. 46 FPS? Must be the trees. Do I send a retro stream? Possibly. M. Rice, thank you for 9. Vinny, thank you for 10 months. Thank you, sir. That is really terrible on frames right now. 44, 46, 54. do than upgrade, lol. Things always seem better from memories than reality, I often find. Yeah. I mean, I have seen ZX Spectrum stuff, and it is shocking how bad it is compared to modern day stuff. But you can't get around the fact that that computer was what literally changed my life, you know? There's a certain amount of... It's the same with the guy who's reviewing it, the video I watched. He said, you know, it's hard to put into words how I feel about this computer. Uh-oh. You drove an old Golf not because it's a better car, but what it meant. Exactly. How did I meet Mrs. Squirrel? At a friend's house? She used to go around, she used to go out drinking on a Friday night with her friend. And her friend's husband used to play D&D with us on a Friday night. You wish you still had time to play D&D. I wish I still had the friends that I played D&D with. They live back in St. Helens, you know, and they've got families too, so it's just not possible now. D&D got you the 3.5 manuals. Yeah, I started playing just at the tail end of the TSR Inc. days. Before Wizards of the Coast bought it and changed it all to a D20 system. I used to like rolling D4 for damage on a thief, D10 with a fighter. You watch Critical Role. Is Matt Thingy, what's his name? Matt Mercer, is it? Is he still the GM? I don't ride a bike anymore, I don't have a bike. I know how to ride a motorbike, I just don't have one. He is. He's like literally the reason to watch. He's such a good GM. I've tuned to some of those streams, you know, and he's been describing the characters going into a certain place, and it's just, oh man, you just sit there, captivated. Oh, Munchkin. I've got Munchkin. I still love playing Munchkin. I've got Munchkin plus the 2 expansions. It's such a good game, Munchkin. That's where the rattler stick, tinfoil hat. I love the humour of the Munchkin game. When were these games made? What, Munchkin? Crikey. I think it's a 90s game, probably. Munchkin's basically cards. But it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Citation, Max. 41 months, I feel old. Mr. Chili Willies was in here earlier, Max. How's the flying going, sir? Are you still doing 1,000,000 hours a week? You wasn't even born then, you never got to play it? Doesn't matter when you was born. Flying to Bermuda tides. Nice. Texas on Tuesday. That must be really fun, bouncing around the country like that. I wish you safe travels, Max. There's quite a few spin-offs and variants of Munchkin. Yeah, there are. It's still the original, though. The original's still the best. Dude, I was just saying earlier on stream, a flying group I'm in on WhatsApp. Like, we're just talking today, and I flew about 4 weeks ago, just did some circuits to keep the currency going. One guy said, I flew on Wednesday, that's the first time I've flown in 2020. And the other guy was like, yeah, I've flown once in the last 6 weeks. That's how bad the weather has been here. They were saying it's like probably the worst winter they can even remember for flying GA. It really has been horrendous. I can't remember it. I think all the flying schools are suffering quite a bit. I think all the students are just doing ground school stuff because they can't fly. You might get away with circuits now and again, but that's about it. It was nice this morning though, so I'm kind of hoping it's turning around a bit. It has gone colder. Oh yeah, we had a storm at the weekend. We had a storm the week before. The week before that. We've had about 3 or 4 storms in about 3 weeks. There's a lot of flooding in the UK. Flying GA is fine in X-Plane. Very true. Max, I don't suppose you can't see the stick here, can you, Max? Can't see my Warthog stick. Camera doesn't show you. Yoke's gonna go here. When I'm flying DCS, I'm gonna use the Warty. F-mod sounds. Track limits. Well, I could just not read chat and drive perfectly. How's that? Have I been able to sleep? Last week or so I've been fine. Before that, I don't know, I couldn't get to sleep. I'd lie in bed at 2 in the morning going, why can't I sleep? Do you fly in the UK or do you cross to France? I'm booked later this month. I'm an instructor's taking me over to Calais. First time I'll have done a cross-channel thing. So that should be fun. Wait, where are we going here? Assuming the weather's fine. Can you do the rotating view? So I do that. I have a little joystick thing here on this wheel, which I've mapped to the camera. No, you don't. No. English is the language of aviation, so when you talk to ATC, you can talk in English. Whether you can understand the French accent, that's a different problem. It's Fringlish, that's what they speak. Fringlish. Do I get into Truckfest for free? No, I'll buy my ticket. I could get free tickets, but they'll always want something in return, so it's like, oh, I'll just spend 20 quid and not have the hassle. Right, let's see, parking brake. I love the way the switches move, but you can't actually click them. $100? Blimey. No, they do, Buzz. ATC have to speak English. Good evening, Hannah. Looks like the shift change has kicked in. They can speak French pilot. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. If a French pilot is in French airspace, he can speak French to ATC. But if an English-speaking pilot is in French airspace, the ATC has to speak English back. So you'll see, if you watch any videos where there's people flying over France, you'll quite often hear them talk in English, and then the French ATC will speak back in English, and then immediately say something else to somebody else in French. Well, the only way he'll know Langeveld is if he either speaks French or the ATC tell him. It hurts the French to hate not speaking French. So the only people who cares about that are the French. Do you ever play with the realistic graphics mods? I often do, you know, like Grimes's Frosty mods and Autumn mods and that kind of thing. But I don't tend to go for the, what's it called, natural looks, the, whatever it is. It's massive, that thing. Oh boy. Ray Arsenal, thank you for 33. My high beams are on, I know. I'm aware of that. I can see that they're on. Hannah, 62 months. You did. You definitely hit that button. Hannah, I remember. I definitely remember you hitting that button. Not even a week ago. Why am I blinding all the other drivers? I'm going to let you into a secret here, Foggy. Let you into a little secret, mate. They're not actually drivers. They're not drivers. They're just AI algorithms. They don't have eyes and they can't see and they don't get blind. They're not actually drivers. Shh, don't tell anyone. It's our secret. The AI deserve to be blinded. I like it. Why are they flashing at you? Because the algorithm says, if this vehicle is approaching the player and the player has high beams on, then flash. You will notice that every single AI vehicle flashes. Like they all go pew, 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 and you go past with the high beams on. See that? And they all do it at the same distance. It's shocking. It's almost like there's an algorithm in the background. Oh, hang on, I better stay in the right lane, I think. SquirrelPlus. You're the only one I like to watch on Twitch. Love your trucking. Thank you, sir. Thank you for 2 months. I'll dip the headlights here because we've got street lights. See, Vrome's got the command. Ex-Maiden fan, thank you for 23 months. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Actually, Baz, I'm going to let you into a secret. Vrome is actually a bot. You can test that theory by talking to him, you'll see. He gives you very robotic answers. One of them or all of them, it's hard to tell. It's such a good bot, though, that sometimes it kind of feels like he's human. It's weird. I'm requesting the white signals every time, Sultan, because I can't brake properly. Thank you, Shadow. Yeah, got away with it. You see, that's why Vrome's a bot, because there isn't just one Vrome. It's like the Matrix. There's many Vromes. And if you kill one Vrome, another one appears. That's why you know he's a bot. Agent Vrome, exactly. Agent Vrome is exactly what he is. Now, interestingly enough, Vrome's sentient bot is not actually a bot. That's the real Vrome. All the other accounts are bots. See, it's deliberately designed to trick you into thinking that that's the bot, but it's not. Hang on, I need to get used to this camera. You see that? I went down to put my hand down here to get the camera. The muscle memory is unbelievable right now. My brain is like hardwired. It knows exactly where to go to get stuff, only that stuff is not there anymore. I was going to say, when are you actually going to accept this? Oh my god, how many times are you going to post that Fortnite noob? I've seen you post that at least 4 times that I've seen. Engine off. See, when you post something, it doesn't mean I haven't seen it, just because I don't read it out. You've seen it 8 times. I'm not surprised.
Happy anniversary, Nata.
Tootsie! Thank you for 33 months. Happy to see Squirrel back in the driver's seat, quite literally. Rig is looking top notch. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying it. Wanted to say, loving the Stoneworks at the moment, especially the logic gates. We'll be going to watch it and the VOD. Thank you. Right, I'm going to nip for a very quick bathroom break, I think. I'm going to have to extract myself out of this rig. To put that over there. I want to flick down. Back in a sec.
Happy anniversary, Nata.
I hit the mute button. I'll say that again. Do I know when SnowRunner is being released? Yes. Let's make it daytime. I don't know if I'll stream it when it comes out. I do not know.
Welcome back, Nutter.
Let's see what's in the external contract market. An all-terrain crane all the way down to Coos Bay. That sounds like fun. Have I got any experience using voice attack? When I played Elite Dangerous years ago, I used voice attack for that. If you watch back, I don't know if there's any VOD still on Elite Dangerous. But yeah, you used to sort of come in and be like, I'll say landing gear, landing lights, and it would just automatically do it. And I thought, like in a high-tech setting like Elite Dangerous, I thought it worked really, really well. But if I was to take it into, say, a flight sim world, I don't think I'd use it because it doesn't feel very realistic. Have you got 2 screens above the ultrawide? No, only 1. I'm sure I've posted photos of this before.
Happy anniversary, Nutter.
1 second. Probably got to give you a vague idea. This is from like a week ago. You see that? That's roughly what's going on. You've got the widescreen monitor, you've got the second monitor on top, and then a light and a camera on the left. So in SimLabs terms, they call that one on top a quad monitor add-on. Because SimLabs sell a triple screen mount, and they sell a single screen mount. This is a single screen mount. But because when they made the triple screen, they made that add-on, they call it the quad monitor add-on, because you was meant to have 3 here, and then add that one, which would make 4. However, that still works with the single monitor mount. So that's called a quad add-on. Is to get fuel. Yeah, we should probably pick some up, I guess. You can use it for key presses. Sorry, list out what we're talking about. Use what for key presses? I missed something. Oh, voice attack, gotcha. Yeah, I know exactly what it does. I used to use it. I used to make it simulate pressing the landing gear key. It's very useful in Elite Dangerous because in a combat situation you can use voice attack to change weapons or dump heat bricks or whatever you need to do, you know? And it definitely saves time from trying to look around and find the right button. Is the wheel not self-right? Kind of gradually. I've got the stiffness set up though. Do you remember I said to you there were 2 things that I turned down on the force feedback? One was the engine, and one was the centering. Because both of them make the wheel do this. Centering is the one that will self-center. You can't decide whether to go triples or ultra-wide. It is a personal choice. Is that for mounting on a rig, Danny? Because if you're going to get a rig, that's fine. You can mount the triples nice and center and level. If you're not using a rig, mounting triples can be very tricky. Yeah, it's 137. Desk only. I would go with a single, Danny. I would absolutely go with a single. Get a single ultra wide and have an easy life. Triples are very difficult to get set in the right place. All nice and level at the right angle. And if you've got, you know, if you get it wrong, it just doesn't feel right. And then you've got the bezels as well. I'd just go with a single if you're going to do a desk setup. This is a big trailer. Do we need some bacon? Do we need any bacon on the back of this? Oversized load. Press the bacon button. Of course we need bacon. Of course we do. Why would we not have bacon? It's not an engine mod. It's a default truck from ATS 137 beta. Is the bacon yellow on the... Hang on a second, I'm not concentrating. I am not concentrating. No, it's a piece of bacon. It's a strip of bacon on the deck. Uh-oh. Well, this could be a problem. I used a bacon PNG. It looks yellow from the camera. Well, we set it up on stream a couple of hours ago. It's basically like a pinky fleshy colour. It's that one there. I had to find a fuel station. Let's have a quick look at the let's have a quick look at the map routing to make sure. Wow, okay. There's a fuel station here. We'll have to refuel there. Of course, there's one behind me. Of course there is. We should have enough. We've got a quarter of a tank, and that's a 300-gallon tank, so I think we're going to be good. First started following me back in the Battlefield 3 days. Do you still play Battlefield? Battlefield 3 and 4 were great. After that, it just became a mess for me. I just can't, like, Battlefield 5 and everything beyond that, the Star Wars one is just trash. I play Rainbow Six Siege for shooting now. Mr. Impious, thank you very much for 49 months, Impious. I don't know, Floofy, we'll see. Oh my god, these lights? Oh, what's going on there? Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Somebody messed up. Battlefield 1 was alright. Yeah, I guess. I've said it before, I like shooters now where when you die there's a higher cost of death. I don't like spawn, die, spawn, die, spawn, die FPS games anymore. You know what? I've just noticed there's a fire hydrant right in the middle of the pavement though. Tarkov is a game I would love to play, but I just can't find the time in my life for the vertical wall that is the learning curve of Tarkov. So I stick with Siege. I think with Tarkov you have to go through a phase of dying an awful lot before you become even remotely competent. And there's so much to learn with all the NPCs and the weapon handling and the way that you assemble things in the game and where to get the keys from, where to get stuff from, loot from, like, you know what I mean? Like, because there are people that just spawn in and they run straight to the best places to get the best stuff. And they'll be like in and out before you're still going, ooh, what's this? Playing Tarkov right now, you're an expert at getting shot. Lol. And that's the other thing, is you'll die in that game and have no clue as to why. Which, you know, a bit like DayZ was back in the day. A lot of people who used to play DayZ now kind of scratch that itch on Tarkov. Even Siege are having a hard time having awareness of the map and where I am. The problem with Siege is now there's a lot of maps and a lot of operators. The operators isn't so bad. You can just generally get away with 3 operators on each side and you'll be fine. The maps are the problem. If you create a custom game, in the game, if you go to, you create custom game, you can create a playlist of maps and you can just play them solo, just jump in as an attacker and roam around. And the other thing you can do is create a custom game and put it in spectator mode. And in spectator mode, you can do like what they do in the competitions on Twitch. You can basically look up and down, top view, move around, and get a real feel for it. The other thing you can do is go to r6maps.com, and they'll show you maps. So if you've got a second monitor, put a map of just put a map up of whatever the map is that you're on. Put it on your second monitor, play the game, look where you are, and be like, oh, I'm there. Bottom right, it'll tell you when you're droning, it'll tell you which room you're in, pay a lot of attention to the room names. They will really help you. You have 400 hours in Tarkov and still get wrecked. I am completely not surprised. Yeah, spectator mod's pretty good. Slightly weird interface, but very useful. Like when the new map came out, which one was it? I think I did it on Theme Park first. I used it on Theme Park because I was still struggling with Theme Park. And when I did it on spectator mode, I could get a feel for which... Oh, so from this room I'm on the west side, and if I go here I can get... Ah, okay, I get it. Because I need to have that overall view in my head for me to really understand the detail when I'm running around. Wanzimus, thank you for 55. Is having an ultra-wide worth the money? The best way that you can answer that is to go and play on an ultra-wide monitor rig somewhere. Like, plenty of games, if you go to a lot of games, like, for example, what's it called? Gamescom. Go to Gamescom, you will always be able to find, like, Project Cars, Logitech rigs, and they'll have ultra-wide monitors. Go and sit down and drive. And see what you think. There's no point me saying yes or no, because everybody's different, right? You might think, it's alright, but it's not worth 800 quid or whatever. Other people will be, whoa, I'm so getting one of these. Yeah, Flight Sim 2020, this is one of the reasons I bought it, because if you look at the monitor review I did of this thing, when I got an X-Plane, that was, for me, X-Plane was one of the key selling points. I sat in the plane, and I could fly along, downwind, I could see the runway. That was spatial awareness, which is really important in a plane, but it was so much better. Yeah, it's actually super ultra wide, that's very true, bro. Yeah, they're not cheap, but hopefully if you buy one, it's going to last you like at least a decade, right? Is OBS okay to set up streaming on the ultra wide? Yeah, you just got to crop it. It goes, oh, that's a 3840 by 1080 image. Great. Okay, drop 960 pixels off that side, 960 off that side. Oh god. And all of a sudden you've got a 1920 by 1080 again. You just tell OBS to ignore the extra bit there and that. Buying a super ultra wide when they introduce 4K, you better make sure you've got a very good graphics card. That's all I can say about that. So, if this, like this is two 1080 monitors, from what you're saying about 4K, 4K in that screen would be 4 1080 monitors. Do the same on the other side, you've now got 8 1080 monitors that graphics card has to drive. 8 1080 monitors. Yeah, never mind the VRAM. Never mind the VRAM, good luck driving that with a graphics card. Yeah, exactly. I mean, quote, you playing like 120 FPS in our racing? Is that right? Can you see stuff in the right mirror without turning the camera? Just about. If I go there, hang on. If I go like there, I can completely see that mirror. It's like I could see half of the mirror though. If I increase the FOV in the game, I could see it. iRacing runs well, set a course for DCS World, not so much. Interesting. Let's get some fuel. What, you're going to upgrade to the 3000 series, Squirrel? Have they announced it yet? It tends to skip a generation. If the 3000 was out, I'd skip the 20 series. Wait, what? Dude, this is a red light. Am I missing something here? That light is red, yeah? Supposed to come out this year, but who knows? I know people in the industry, and you know, they tend to keep quiet because they're under NDA. But I generally know when something's about to happen because they'll suddenly start going to, like they'll go to Vegas or somewhere and they can't really talk about why, and that's when you know what's going on. I'd say possibly... Uh-oh, I've gone the wrong way in somehow. I'd say possibly something's going to happen, but I wouldn't imagine we'll see it till later in this year. If anything. And honestly, I'm just not really convinced that the next graphics card from Nvidia is going to substantially move things forward. Your main sound on your mic is very low. I can small bit over the game right. What? Please you fix and turn up the main sound when you're talking. I'm looking at my microphone meter. I'm hitting -9 decibels on my mic. -9, which is exactly where I should be. So I would kind of turn your volume up because nothing wrong with my mic level. I can see the meter right now. There we go. Engine off. Press the bacon. You don't think you'll be getting a new card until mid to late this year. The other thing is, Quirk, if they do release a card, I can't begin to think what the price will be. Why is the mic negative value? Because the way microphones work is you have line level, and then you have... It basically starts off as complete silence, and then it comes up to full loudness at line level, which is 0. So they... -9 is like, if you're peaking or averaging about -9, it's perfect. Because it means if I get really loud, it doesn't break up. If I was to bring up the level to like nearly 0 and then shouted, it would go over 0 and the whole thing would blow. It's just how audio works. It comes from the original VU meters, do you remember them? On a hi-fi. Uh-oh. Could be fun. Reversing a dolly is always fun. There's a lot of gates on the microphone, Tom. Yep, deliberately. Also, the Go XLR has a minimum 10 millisecond gate. You can't bring it any lower, which is slightly annoying about the Go XLR. I'm kind of tempted to get my DBX out and run it through that first, and then bring that into Go XLR and see how that works out. But that's more stuff I need to play with. Oh, you're not... You see, Quirk understands. Quirk understands. When it comes to production, audio is the worst thing. Exactly. Exactly. And then people are like, what do you do on your 3 days off? Solve audio problems. What made you choose that particular wheel from Fanatec? Basically, when I bought this, DD wheels were just coming out. I think Fanatec had made their first DD. And I looked at the price of it. I think the Fanatec DD was like, I can't remember, 1,300. And this was like less than 600. And at the time, I was thinking, well, you know, that's a lot of money. I don't know how much I'm going to do that. Play racing and stuff, so I stuck with the 600 quid one for them. I mean, if I properly get into my racing again, I'll probably upgrade. You're a live sound engineer, and that's way more complicated than anyone thinks. It is. It really is. And this is the thing, is when you start streaming for the first time, you don't realize how much stuff you're going to have to learn to get good. Thank you, Joseph. That's kind of you, sir. What's the difference between a DD wheel and an example of G29? Okay. So a G29, if I remember, works on a cog and or belt system. So you have your motor, and then in the G29, I think it has cogs that drive, that gear from the motor to the wheel. So the wheel will have like a big cog on it, the motor will have a little cog on it. I can't remember the exact internals of a G29. A Fanatec wheel like this will use a belt system. So the motor will be connected via the wheel via a big thick belt. And essentially when the motor turns, it turns the wheel, right? A DD, basically you plug straight into the motor. And the benefit of that is, firstly, it's very, very strong. And secondly, it's very accurate. So it can give you real fidelity in... If you've got a game where it's giving you... It won't make any difference on Euro Truck, but if you've got a good driving game, say, it will give you a lot of data via the wheel about what the car's doing. But, you know, they're expensive to make, DD wheels. They're basically a giant motor. Oh, I'm not making that mistake again. I'm not making that mistake again. Stop here on red. What about amber? Last time I came here, this did exactly the same thing. That is just random deja vu. Let's go and have a look. But yeah, I mean, in terms of price difference, You know, there's a reason the G29 is less than 200 quid. There's a reason that these things are 600, and there's a reason that DDs are like over $1,000. You've never had that bridge go up? I've had it twice in one night. Oh, look at the 4K textures. Look at that. Thanks for 18 months, just one simple human. Kid Chris, 29, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Onesimus, 55. My summer bird. If you look at the water textures in this game compared to what they used to be, like go back to early Euro Truck and have a look at the water and then look at this, it's night and day. There's a reason my console will not let me land my truck. You mean what, the F9 key? Yeah, that's true. Blazing Puppies, thank you for 37 months. You don't need Rome, you can go back. If you go back on YouTube on my videos, pick out a 2016, 2015 video and you'll see. Save yourself the install. The water was like a weird cyan colour. It looked nothing like water. Finally got around to what? Booking your class 2 medical. Have fun. Do yourself a favour, Matty. Don't like eat food or have coffee a couple of hours before. That's the mistake I made last time. PC doesn't have a disk drive. I have a USB one. You can get a USB CD drive for like £15 from. They're useful to have around. You can still buy little peripherals on eBay that still come with a disc. You're like, really? 13 just fig. Anything else would interrupt the F9 key from working on console? There must be something trapping your F9 key. Like a back speed? Why would eating food beforehand affect the results in medical? The food and the caffeine, like, can basically put your heart rate and your heart pressure up, and if they're doing like an ECG, or they're doing your blood pressure, it can basically your blood pressure will be a bit higher. Because your body's processing the food. And I think I went to the gym that morning as well. What can you expect from the medical? They'll always ask you about your family history, your general health, whether anything's changed since the last time you went there, or if it's the first time you've gone there. They generally, and that depends on your age as well, they may do an ECG depending on how old you are. They'll definitely do an eyesight check, they'll definitely do a blood pressure check, and they'll definitely want a urine sample for a class 2. That's pretty much what will happen. F9 doesn't work if you take an external contract. Really? You're only 17. They probably won't do an ECG then. They'd only do that on a class 1 probably. If you're only 17, I wouldn't even worry about it. You had a big night before your class 1. That's a mistake. Well, it depends on the food that you have, Hannah. I think I managed to have something chili, and it basically put my heart rate up. Which when the doctor's like wiring you up and going, your heart rate's quite high. It just depends what food you eat. Oh my god. Pepper, what are you doing? Pep, what's wrong with you? Calm down, jeez. That's the second time in 2 nights I've had a dog bark very loudly into my microphone and burst my eardrums. Why have you brought them in? You know I can't do anything with them anyway. We already discussed this. I can't put the dog here. I think Pepper got freaked out by me sitting in this rig. She thought it was an intruder or something. She was literally barking at me until she realized who I was. Pepper wants to drive. No, she was literally looking at me going, "Row." She didn't know what I was. Nah, I'm not going to get cup holders on the rig, Tommy. I'm going to put a little shelf over here on the wall. Don't want a cup holder. So I think I need to stay in this line. Yes, it is 1.37. Yeah, I'm going to look for a little shelf to go just there. That's one of the things I'm going to do. And so you get the rig built, you don't realise what you need, and you don't realise like what space you might have. You can't plan for that. Because you don't know exactly where you're going to put the monitor. Yeah, I've got a new doggo, Pippa. Also, cup holders are not that useful. They usually hold bottles, but not... Or they'll hold certain kinds of cups, but not, like... A Yorkshire tea mug, there's no way standard cup holders are going to hold that. Will the shelf be over the top of the breaker box? The breaker box is down there. In that corner. So it's going to be like here. It probably makes slightly more sense if I tab out a second and do that, because that way you get a slightly wider aspect. So there's the breaker box down there. That's where the router is. The switch is just above it, and this is the wall here, which you can just see. I can mount something here and have a shelf just stick out there.
Welcome back, Nutter.
But let's go. Thank you, 45. Manchester Flyer, welcome back. I've got you looking at the stream deck and itchy side panel. Yeah, just be aware that mounting this is going to be your biggest problem. I did do a lot of work. There's no doubt about that. A lot of guys on YouTube are, you know, understandably a bit, where's the videos? But obviously when I post the video showing the room, they'll be like, oh, that's what you've been doing. Come on, there we go. Get the Ocean Tea product placement to get sponsored. Well, they already sent me a load of tea for free, so that's nice. No, it's a SimLabs rig. SimLabs P1X. If you go back to my streams a couple of weeks ago, you can see me and Sommy building it. Gamma 10, have a good week. MN Jinx, welcome back. Yeah, I've got a headphone holder here, which I much prefer to having a cup holder. I can hang my headset there when I'm done. SimLabs GT2 or a used R seat for $600. Listen, whatever you go with, Crumbs, my advice is to measure yourself and measure the seat. Seriously, if you order the wrong seat, you'll be... It's surprising. You know, you look at the seats and you think, well, that's a nice seat. And then you look at the diagrams for it and particularly pay attention to the width. The width of the seat where you're sitting. The variation is huge. And if you get the wrong one, you won't even fit in it, or you'll be sat in it and it'll be tight on you in the hips. And it will not be comfortable. So pay attention to the dimensions.